But what happens is like anything else, man. You compare,
Oh,
like,
sorry,
for
this
example,
is late.
the X Games, the
I
first year
have
it came
technical
out.
difficulties
Look at
with
it
this
now,
internet
how it's
service.
evolved, and just about anything, bro.
There was it again on Thursday evening.
Like you remember
Fixed
when
it.
we were young.
Then this morning it was
I
giving me
remember
shit.
watching Dory Funk.
This had to be late. Hopefully I don't give me problems no more.
With a vertical
like
suplex,
it is.
right?
But I know it's going to do it again in the future. That's why I'm having a technician come over Monday evening before I start wrestling.
The ante is upped. You know what I'm saying? And like even with extreme wrestling, I remember when I first started doing extreme wrestling in Tijuana, bro, it was selling out we were doing shows every 2 weeks, but 5,000 seater, bro, every 2 weeks we were selling out. But there came a point where, like, what do you got to do next to capture their attention? And it's almost the same thing in wrestling. I mean, like, what do you got to do next to capture their attention? And it gets more and more dangerous, And now, what would you say? Would you have a football? You know how now in football, if you hit the over the shoulders, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You get penalized. You could even get thrown out of the game, right? Yeah. Right, okay. Would you say something, for example, what would you propose, like a ban on all moves where you land? No, it's a one power drive was banned, right? I think or still. Yeah, it's still banned. I'll say this, and I've talked about this before. Don't start sending the guys to hurt people. Put him in the pocket. Yeah, hit him where you want to hurt. That guy, I mean, maybe this Dragon Lee's never hurt anybody in his life, and that was just an accident. Well, Dragon Lee needs to sit out then for a little bit and realize, hey, some of the moves I'm doing aren't very safe. And I don't know how to protect the guy. And I broke a guy's neck. You know what? Just sit out for 2 months. Did you see what else happened at the New Japan show this past weekend? Did you see?
No. They have something for you.
Jim Ross. So these guys do this guy Jay White and Juice Robinson. They do a suplex into the guardrail, which is in front of the announcer's booth. And knocked the announcer's booth, or knocked the announcer's table, into JR and broke JR's ribs. Jim Ross broke his ribs. He's in the hospital. And so did you see the clip of this coming where Josh Barnett was like a shoot? Went to go hit the ring on the guy? Oh, that was a shoot? I thought that was a work.
I already did that.
That was a shoot. Yeah. Oh, who was he going after? Jay the suplex, Jay White. Yeah. Yeah. Why, he was reckless and he fell on Jim Ross? I didn't see the Jim Ross one. I just saw the Josh Burnett in the ring. Look at this. You're outside the ring. Right. The guardrail of the announcer's table. There's a guardrail around the ring and right in front of the announcer's table. Okay? Right. So he stands with his back to the announcer's table, suplexes the guy back into the guardrail, like he suplexes him into the guardrail. Oh, right in front of the announcer. It hits the guardrail, knocks the guardrail backwards into the announcer's table, which knocks the announcer's table right into JR's ribs. Knocked it down, too. Wow. Down? And I guess he was hurt, obviously, because Josh Barnett, and that's what I saw. And to look out for his boy, man. And you can imagine the pain Jim Ross was probably in when he first saw him. He probably got hot. Yeah, and then plus two. And he called the rest of the show. Yeah, the guy powers out.
That one.
Okay, imagine if Josh Barnett had got his hands on the guy. Like, you do that, seriously, you had a legit shoe fighter. Yeah. Imagine if he had, like, bro, that would have been interesting, you know? But, I've never seen that really happen, right? An announcer actually go into the ring like that? No. Nope, on the shoot. But I think that's the thing, bro. This is the problem. It's like, the guys, the problem we're having today is, the guys don't think about the things that can go wrong when they do things. And the consequences.
Hey,
See, you distracted me. I cracked somebody sick because of you.
Wait a second. What if we, you know what I'm saying? There's another way. It could either be an accident, and then number two, I don't know. Don't they have an agent that's listening to their match before they go into the ring? I don't think New Japan has agents. Okay. That's what I've heard, but I don't know if that's true or not. But if it really doesn't look like it, you know? You guys ready for the mailbag? Yep. Not if, so let me ask you a question. Sometimes you have a lot, sometimes you have a few. Were these the only ones this week? These 4? Yeah. Or there more? There's 2 more listeners that I can support them. No, I don't want to hear that. Okay, no, that was just are you ready for this? Yeah. This is from Chris Jerky. And the email is chrisjerkyco@gmail.com, and this is subject to the Jerky Co list. This is your, when we have mail like this is your fault, Conan, because you're empowering these troll accounts, these weirdos to like come up with this stuff, right? So here's from the subject to Jerky Co list. Hello, keeping it 100. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know you have some tension on the show. This email is to tell you why each of you is on the Jerky Co list. Conan is on the Jerky Co list for faking his hip surgery to cover up for his erectile dysfunction treatment and for ruining his solo gimmick. We're all... This is actually funny. Let me read this again. Conan is on the Jerky Co list for faking his hip surgery to cover up for his erectile dysfunction treatment and for ruining his solo gimmick with all of that 1980s prom music that he played on the show. That's a reasonable reason to put on the list, to be honest. Disco is on the Jerky Co list for not being around.
No, I've beaten that one.
I heard he was busy in the men's room working
I want
to
beat this one.
They were generous chefs.
Or the Legion Square.
Okay, just because you that, that's disgusting. Let me hear the whole thing so I can
no,
so I can
you're
the whole thing.
mad.
Well, you know what? Go ahead. Okay. Jojo the Philly Twink Boy is on the Jerky Co list for missing a show from hospitalizing himself for prolapsing his rectum with a Braun Strowman action figure on Chatterbait. Did you do that job? Is that true? What does that mean? Prolapse. I don't know what that means. You stuck Braun Strowman toy up your ass on Chatterbait. Is that true? No, that is not true. So everything's got a part. Hurricane Helms is on the Jerky Co list for being... That's just funny. I give it a pop shirt. Hurricane Helms is on the Jerky Co list for being the only superhero who sounds like Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh no!
Is on the Jerky Co list for looking like a Latino Michael Jackson. P.S. Bring back MC Wigga Sloth, aka KG. That snowflake was a fun punchy bag. Sincerely, Chris Jerky Co. Interesting. What do you think about that, Conan? Bro, I get a perverse pleasure out of burying cucks like you. First of all, the kazoo for Chris Jerky for trying to get over on us, and another one for being an asswipe on Twitter. And the troll army, other jackoffs who decided to come over here. I would like, bro, and then he puts KG over, the human aardvark, Pennywise, slight Down syndrome looking motherfucker. Anyway, obviously when your mouth is not being used as the local sperm bank, or you're not taking a Bukkake face pack from the entire CZW and ECW originals, you know what? I'm not even going to write on him. I'm going to let all our parody account troll army write on your bitch ass. And if you ever reveal your true identity, Chris Jerky Co, I will personally kick your uterus into the next millennium. Nothing. I think that Chris Jerky Co is obviously KG. No, I think Chris Jerky Co is obviously Chris Jericho. Maybe. The next one is from Peter Campbell, and the subject is question for Disco, character development. All right, guys, your podcast really makes my week complete. Question for Disco. Who came up with the Disco Inferno character? Did someone tell you that you look like the young John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever and you just ran with it? In relation to this, how did the guy with the prestige jobber gimmick persuade the booker, agent, etc. to allow him to get some more of his stuff in during a match to get him towards that respective mid-card status that you held in WCW?
I don't want to go to the industrial plant. I've beaten that.
First of all, I was always a mid-carder. I was never a jobber. Okay? So this is one thing, all you smart marks out there, a jobber is a professional wrestler that is standing in the middle of the ring, that gets no entrance. That's the best. Who gets beat up. That's a jobber. Okay? The jobber, doing a job doesn't make you a job. Okay? A jobber is a specific character that was back in the 80s and the 70s, 80s, that's what they call a guy. Doing a job means you're losing a match, so you just do what you... Like a jobber, to put different terms, because when you do the job, you're like doing a job. But let me tell you, here's the best part about jobbers, which they're not around anymore, and I think they should be, but there were jobbers that actually jobbed so much that they got over with you, right?
Yeah, the Mulkey brothers.
Right, right.
Where they were wrestling the Midnight Express, and Cornette described it as the number. This is back when the Midnight Express had the U.S. tag team titles. I think they had back then.
Yeah.
And they were billed as the number 13th ranked contenders for the U.S. tag team title.
Right.
And they beat the Midnight Express on TV with that, like the biggest upset ever. That was the only match he ever won. So Raven came up with my character, me and him, and I've said this repeatedly. I'm not going to go back into the story again because everybody knows this, all right? And if you want to know how to, like, if you're asking as a worker, if you're a performer and you want to persuade the booker agent, I would say this would be my suggestion to you. Just go in there and tell the guy what you want to get in, okay? And just go out there and just try and do it. We'll see how good your career goes after that, and whether or not you get booked again. So just do that. Would you agree with that, Conan?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you just gotta go over there and get over on your own, and they'll notice. You can't be in there going, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Because they'll get tired of you. So you gotta prove yourself.
Well, no, I would tell them, go ahead and do that, and tell the booker, say, hey, I want to get my second tonight. Okay. Like different.
You'll be dressing like Enzo and Miz used to dress.
You're supposed to, okay, you're wrestling Conan, okay, and you're going in and Kevin Sullivan's giving you the finish, and Kevin Sullivan is telling you, hey, I want you to make Conan look good, give it all stuff and everything in about 6 minutes. Okay, when he says that, I want you to say, hey, wait a second, so how about if we do like a 50-50 match this time, and I hit it with my finish and let you kick out? And what if Kevin Sullivan would tell the guy?
Yeah, you probably get fired.
Yeah, just do your job. If you're a jobber, the only thing that gets you over is your work. Okay, look, you have to look good. Okay, if you're doing jobs and you look good and you turn out to be a good worker, they'll probably take you off to quit jobbing and probably give you a shot at doing something. That eventually is what happens with like a lot of the jobbers that have made it. Like look at Hardy. They
I got those.
You know.
Use the first, man.
Our next email is in 4 days. And the subject is
What's it? Right. How do you
I'm
pronounce
burning
that?
up.
Jorge.
No, it's Jorge.
Today.
You got the other part wrong.
So subject is tag team.
It's what?
This question is tag team.
Tag team.
This question is for Conan. Hey Conan, big fan. You're so cool, and Disco, you are a legend. JoJo, you suck, but at least you're better than KG. Okay?
That's tremendous. What a backhanded compliment, right?
It's still a compliment. I'll take it.
Okay.
Joe'll take anything he can get. All right, good.
Conan, I'm a big fan of LAX and Impact. How do you think they would rate against some of the other top tag teams in the world today? Like New Day, the Usos, the Revival, or even the Young Bucks? Your buddy, Jorge.
That's tremendous. Jorge again. Let me see. Bro, I think all of those, I think all of those matches would be great. You know, I know that they wrestled Pentagon and Phoenix at the bar, and that was a great match, and Aerostar and Drago, that was a great tag team. I don't think New Day's a tag team. That's more like a trio, right?
Actually, how good the matches do, I think it's actually how good they are compared to those other teams. I think that's the question.
Well, I think they're better than any of those other teams, and it's going to be hard to find out because 3 of them that you just mentioned are all in WWE, correct?
Right.
And my little pretties, the young buckaroos, they might as well be in WWE because they can't wrestle for anybody that's not Ring of Honor or New Japan. So I get and they're champions because I don't think New Day's champion or Revival or who's the other team that you said?
Usos.
Yeah, they're not champions now, are they?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and we are and they are, but they're champions of like Japan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they'd have to come over here and prove their mettle, if you will. Boom.
But you think the LAX is better than the
1,000%.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the Wrestling Observer gave them like have they won like the tag team like 4 years in a row?
Yeah.
Well, what do you expect? They named their finisher after Meltzer so they could be over with him. So of course the guys they're going to be tag team of the year. Sooner or later, break from the indentured servitude and come to the Indies and let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, why are we even having this discussion?
Because Jorge wanted to know.
Jorge. So this has been the intro. Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom.
Don't ask how I got this number. We met a while ago, I think. Or we should have done. There's a new property on Maze Bank foreclosures I'm pretty sure you're going to find interesting. 87% sure, according to our current algorithms. It's an underground bunker, manufacturing facility, and money-making opportunity. Take a look on the site.
What's his name? Disco? Oh, anyway, keep it right here and keep listening. To keeping it 100.
This is the People's Champ, Felicia Rose, and you're listening to Keeping It 100 with my boy Conan and that doofus Disco Inferno. Oh, and by the way, fuck Mitch Valentine.
No! I already beaten this one. They got me wasting my time. I already beat this one. I said I ain't want to go to this. Time to go for a nice cold swim. What up, Woken? Can't find nothing else good in this room. Hello, hey yo. I can't find Jack in this game interesting. They keep on sending me to places I've already beaten.
WCW superstar Brutus the Barber.
I ain't getting nowhere in this thing.
BrutusBeefcake.com to check out his new book, Cutting and Strutting.
I got a question for you. You did when you did
I'm
the
gonna
wing
check
fest.
on my business.
I actually emceed one of those before. Did they have the guys like the special ears with the gimmick guys? Did they have the Lord of the Wing?
L Wing and
And it's just like Gandalf and stuff like the Lord of the Lord of the Rings character. Was he doing that?
They didn't have a guy. No, they didn't have a guy like that. But there was that guy. This was down in Pennsylvania and Jersey. I did one before too. Another somewhere else. And they had this guy. He was like 340 pounds, big. He was 6'6", 340 pounds, and he was the wing eating champion for like all around Jersey, Pennsylvania, and shit. And that was the guy that was there on this occasion where we went.
Look at that! I've never really known about this.
I've still been in this
eating
game. I'm not mixed.
It's like a thing. It's like pretty popular.
I want something to do.
I saw like Joey Chestnut, the guy that just won the hot dog eating contest, like the umpteenth time or whatever. He's like the world champion eater. There's like donuts, cheeseburgers, like all this stuff. But then he's just like a regular guy. And I was like, how can you freaking eat so much? You know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, and the reason Disco knows about this food is because he's also in the competitive eating circuit. He's also known as Las Vegas Sausage King, but that's a whole other yeah, it's a true story. It is a true story. Let me ask you a question, Brother Blue-Eye, because Cookie had some good times in WCW. Excellent person to hang out with. I'm seeing here, because wrestlers ain't afraid to get publicity. Let me read this before you tell me what went down. It says here that on November 7th, 2013, Leslie appeared at Toronto City Hall with a pair of shears and a submarine sandwich, claiming Mayor Rob Ford needed an intervention in the wake of a high-profile crack cocaine scandal. Leslie offered to be Ford's angel of mercy, saying maybe if he gets his body right, he will be able to get his mind right. Security escorted him off the property. Here's my favorite part. The day before, fellow wrestler, the Iron Sheik, also tried to visit Ford and challenge him to an arm wrestling match. Now,
this is 100% true. 100% true. Only thing is, I had my shears brother. I was knocking on his door of his office. It was press from all over the world. There was security everywhere. I snuck the shears in, and they threw us out. But it wasn't because I had smuggled in head clippers in. They said we couldn't bring in the submarine sandwich. Right? And I brought in like half a dozen submarine sandwiches because we were going to give them out, pieces, cut them up, give pieces to the crew and stuff and everything. And the guy, he spoke, he was real heavy after me. He goes, like Indian or something. You can't bring these sandwiches. You can't bring in these sandwiches. You can't bring them in there. No, you can have these sandwiches. We're just going to give them to the thing. You know, the whole Ford thing and intervention was the whole deal. You can't bring these sandwiches. No. And I'm walking down there. And they walked it about 150, 200 yards across big, long parking lot and everything. Across and they walked even off. They walked us off the sidewalk, and they were standing in the street. They said, you can't even stand on the sidewalk.
Did you just write a book, Brutus?
I did, bro.
When does that come out?
Around the first of the year.
Right.
Starting to cut my way through life, you know, Brutus Beefcake story.
What stories are like the first two? This book is got to be like a must read, right? That's great. Well, let me ask you a question. I want to ask you something real quick. So from the time you decided when you used to, okay, I'm going to write a book, okay, how long from that moment did it take you to actually start putting pen to paper, and how long did it take you to write it? And like, did you really help you do it? So like, the actual process.
I started 5 years ago, and it's a whole crazy, long, insane story. Three years ago, a friend of mine named Scott Epstein, really nice guy.
That thing's
in New York.
You
probably heard of him, probably. If you can Google
I've heard of
Scott.
him, yeah.
And he was a super nice guy. He was involved with WWF and the older guys, like Superstar. He knew all those guys and stuff. And he befriended me and said, let's get off. You should try to start doing books. And he started putting stuff down. And this was 4 years ago. And then next thing you know, suddenly, 3 days before Christmas, a couple of years ago, he wound up dead from a car accident. And it's like, all of a sudden, damn, all my notes, everything were lost in space. His ex-wife was all bitter and didn't want to speak to anybody. Wouldn't accept any calls, and all my notes, everything was done, was there. And then finally, my wife Missy came in contact with a guy named Kenny Casanova, who's done some books for some guys. Vader got rid of his soul. And he did one with Danny. He's working on one with Tito now, I think, and some other guys. But he said he would help me with mine. And so we got together and started raging on it. And after about a year, and then we put about 6 months of editing and going through stuff. And all of a sudden, it took years to get this thing. Yeah.
What do you think was What do you think was wilder, Brutus, in wrestling, the 80s or the 90s?
Oh, the 80s for sure, brother.
The 80s? Yeah. So it's just, what do you think of today? What do you think of like today's kind of like politically correct world where anything that you say or did 20 years ago can be held against you? You know, just what we're going through right now, you coming from that era, and I come from that era too.
Yeah, I mean, God, I can't imagine. It wouldn't be the same. I had those guys and everything come together. Today, at this time, it wouldn't have been the same. I mean, we had a tremendous loyalty among the boys. Everybody looked out for each other, and we had a tremendous
He's got to get it.
And the business was just, it'll never, ever, I don't care, anybody says, it'll never be that way again. You know, and the guys were just unbelievable, phenomenal talent, so much variation, so much difference, you know, so many different guys, and such different talent, big, tall, small, every size, shape, and description. For wrestling, and it was a lot like the circus. I watched the movie the other night, The Greatest Show on Earth, and it made me feel like, you know, the people in the circus saw themselves as freaks. And when I started wrestling in the 70s, I felt like that. I felt like a freak. I'm like a freak. These people are looking at me and like, they think I'm freaking nuts. That I'm a freak getting out here and performing in front of crowds.
Right, because wrestling was still kind of... Yeah, wrestling was still kind of underground, right?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes, you know, especially in the South and the smaller towns. I mean, New York, obviously, it was a different ballgame, but I came up through the South, and then in the mid-'70s, and it was a different ballgame. It was a whole different ballgame like that. And I never trained in a school. Guys took me in the ring, and they taught me every night how to wrestle, right? That basic knowledge, you know, how certain things beforehand, but I learned in the ring, on the job training, brother. locking up in the ring, and that's how I learned. There was no wrestling school for me, baby. It was, you know.
Brutus, are you originally from Tampa too, or no?
Yeah, I'm born and raised there.
Okay, so I'm from Miami, so you grew up watching the same wrestling I grew up watching, the Gordon Soley Florida Championship Wrestling, so long from the Sunshine State, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Jose Lothario,
Right.
Paulo Medino, I mean, the guys, tremendous, great, you know, Harley Race, the Briscoes, everybody. These guys, just the best of the best of wrestlers ever.
Now, did you have any problems, and these are inherent to our business, obviously, okay? Did you have any problems when you first started that people were like, oh, well, he isn't properly trained, or he's a rookie, let's try him out? Did you have problems like the beginning with guys that were testing you and potatoing you and shit like that?
Hell yeah. I went through multiple territories. I spent some time when I was in my first few years in Washington territory. And then guys like Gino Hernandez and Jake was there, DiBiase, Stan Hansen, some of this guy, Pork Chops Cash, slam me, pick me up and deliberately just slam me right on my shoulder, and really broke my shoulder on purpose. Just because, you know, and just because I was a white boy, you know, young, up and coming, you know, like bodybuilder looking white boy in the business scene. He didn't like me, and so he nearly freaking ended my career there, but I was able to rehab and get the hell out of there, and then move on and keep going in the business. Right. That could have been right there the end of everything for me, because you know how it is, man. You're in the business, and you drop out of sight for a year or something.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. That's it. That could be it. You know, but I never. You know, it took some time for me to learn how to protect myself, brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying here.
Right.
And then that one day, I was like, damn, I was like, all right, you know, now, right. Come on, you want to mess with me? All right, bring it on. And I knew I would take care of myself. And then from that point on, I let nobody take advantage of me. Right. And made them know that, you know,
you wanted to throw you.
You're not going to get away with it. You want to mess with me, you don't pay a hell of a price. And I never, ever had any problems after that. And once I stood my ground, let everybody know, you know, that I'm not going to be taken advantage of. Because, you know, there was a lot of guys, brother, and there's great guys in this business. But there's a lot of guys who take advantage of the green guys and the young guys all the time.
Right. Especially the bitter veterans that they don't want nobody, you know, that they're like, well, you know, you got to go through me. You know what I'm saying? And I know you must have ran into a lot of those grizzled vets.
Hey, we were in W together. Like, I remember, like, a lot of the New York guys were always, like, big rivers. You know, like Henning and all those guys, like, full big ribs.
Yes, I am.
Like,
Gonna be Slamboree 2000.
I heard that WWF was just, like, constantly...
That's my ride anyway.
And, like, I never really got a chance to work. Like, I worked with Davey Boy, but I never got a chance to, like, work with Dynamite. I heard they were, like, two of the biggest rippers. Like in the business and open and stuff like this. Did they ever, like, would you guys do that to each other and stuff? Or was it just guys that, like, were just constantly getting people with, like, good ribs?
With our river, Fuji was a huge river. There was a lot of rivers. Mr. Perfect, especially Chris Kirk, would love to do that shit. You know, I wasn't the brunt of it. Some of the guys, the referees, and different...
Yes, I do.
Some of the young guys, the guys filling in, you know, in some of the shows that come in to do jobs and shit. Yeah, those are the guys that bore the brunt of the rib and stuff like that, especially like from Fuji. The Bulldogs love doing crazy shit.
I think the story told me. Did you ever hear the story about Fuji where the neighbor's dog was barred all the time, and he like killed the neighbor's dog and tried to
let me put it in the
Did you hear that story?
Give me a minute.
The dog. Yeah.
So he poisoned the dog and then sent the dog to the neighbor.
We'd like to thank Brutus once again for coming on Keeping On with Conan. One more time, check out 336.com for his book, Strutting and Cut. You get autographed copies there, as well as autographed pens, keepsake gloves, clippers, t-shirts, and more.
Conan, I have a question for you.
What it do, Cole?
What did you eat for dinner last night? Your Taco Bell again?
Give me, where is it?
Give yourself Taco.
As you know, baby nuts, I'm on a diet. So yesterday my last meal was lean meat, carrots, green beans, olives. That's what it was.
Did you brush your teeth up?
1,000%.
The truth is, most of us brush our teeth not for long enough. We forget to change our brush on time. That's because most brands focus on selling flashy gimmicks rather than better brushing, but not Quip. So what makes Quip so different? They have an easy Quip, and it's one unique toothbrush that I've ever done. For starters, Quip is an electric toothbrush that's a fraction of the cost of a bulky brush, while still packing just the amount of vibration to help clean your teeth. Quip's built-in timer helps you clean with the dentist recommended 2 minutes with guiding sentences that remind you when to switch sides. And I do this because it's fantastic. I realize you're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes at a time, but what I do is Quip to have like sections, like a 40 seconds to vibrate so you know to change seconds.
And can I say something real quick? And here's something that's very important for our fans that have been with us, from the beginning or just jumped on. We're not going to hawk or recommend anything we haven't tried first, and believe me, we've turned down stuff for money because we're not going to spoil all the goodwill we have accumulated with our fan base. Now, Joe might, on his network, not try shit out and still hawk it, but here,
You mean like the rehab responsibility?
I'm not.
I've not been to the rehab yet, but I would not check
I
it
am
out.
sure you have. And
There's a road in our ad.
I can't.
Quip subscription plans for your health, not just convenience. They deliver new brush heads on a dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5.
I'm not going to eat it.
Including free shipping worldwide. It also comes with a mount that's something that wipes your mirror and
Did I say?
hygienic travel wherever you take your feet. And finally, everyone loves Quip. They're one ultra cola.
Alright.
They're one of time's best inventions.
I accept
And
it
it's the
after
first subscription
I
for
get away
electric
from these
toothbrush
guys.
accepted by the American Dental Association. Plus, they're backed by a network of over 20,000 dentists and hygienists and hundreds of thousands of happy brushers use Quip every day, including myself. And we have a call to action for our listeners. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com, that's GETQUIP.com/KONNAN, Conan, right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/Conan. That's GETQUIP.com/KONNAN. Quip is the real deal. You gotta try it.
all right, so let me tell you why Disco thinks we messed up this ad, which is something he got on Vince Russo about because Vince would just read him dry. Is like he wants to read the ad, Disco, and then later we can talk about it. And before, he would read the ad and we'd kind of interrupt them and make it a little bit more conversation, which I actually thought was a lot funnier, even though it took longer. But now that you did read that whole thing, I wanted to say this. Jojo, the Chatterbait connoisseur, resident twink, how is your experience been with this?
Damn, dude, move out the way.
I've had it for about 6 weeks now. I threw my other 2 brushes away. Quip is also covered for the life of the entire plan. And you can also return if you don't like it. I also just recently ordered one from my wife. You saw how much I was enjoying using all that threw my other brushes away.
Well, and how about DI? How about you?
I just told you, I use it every day. I use it like 3 times a day. I brush like a minute and 20 to 2 minutes at a time. I keep it great. It's great. It's a great tooth.
Well, let me tell you my experience real quick. I did also get rid of my regular toothbrush. And, like when you go to the dentist and they clean your teeth and they use like an electric toothbrush buffer thing on your teeth? Yeah. That's what it feels like when I'm cleaning my teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting a cleaning at the dentist.
The main reason you clean your teeth is because from WCW, everybody used to think you had bad breath. So that's one of the major reasons that Quip and toothbrushes have.
And I also like it because the electric toothbrushes were like old. Remember the old school ones? This is very light. I hadn't held an electric toothbrush in a long time. This one's very lightweight, and you put it on the stand, and it recharges itself. So you can put this like tube over it, and you can travel with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No charger, no wire.
Right. And so anyways, yeah, highly recommend.
Thanks.
with toothbrush pull.
I can use it.
Yo, we're back with Shane Helms and his favorite segment, the Shane Helms segment. Conan is not with us right now. He's I don't know what he's doing.
You know, he's probably getting prepared for his trip to Iran that he does right before the show. But that's okay because that's fine because I'm gonna start off hot this week. Because I always wait. I come in chilling, and then I get lambasted by the Disco family. I got something for you this week. Because last week you came after me over a tweet. Now all the stuff I put on social media, all the funny stuff, all the entertaining shit I put, the memes that I create myself. You never mention none of that. But if there's something negative, you jump on it.
You didn't create the fucking crying. You did not create the crying Jordan.
Okay. Now, I didn't create that, but I'm saying most of the memes on my Instagram and all that, or memes, as you say, most of those I do create. Now, anyway, so what you were so upset with last week was that because I talked about how, the fans showed me a lot of love and appreciation, so I showed it back on Twitter, and you said you would be embarrassed over that. Yes. And your ass gets tweeted by the WWE Network. Mm-hmm. And you start retweeting that shit like it's a big deal. How in the hell is that any better?
Well, first of all, I've never worked for the WWE. Okay, so for them to
there's a reason for that.
Paying homage to my legendary career, deserves a retweet.
You're selling for a tweet.
Yes.
By somebody you don't even know. You don't even know this person.
What?
This could be a 17, I'm talking about the person that runs the account. This could be a 17-year-old intern. And you're selling for them. But if I go out there and just, show my appreciation for a paying audience that showed me an incredible amount of respect, somehow that made me bad. Come on now.
Bro, let me tell you something. Fans is a show we're training. If you're marking out that this is awesome and you still got it, Chad, that's completely different than just retweeting the fact that the WWE Network tweeted it. Bro, that started with WWE. It's obvious that they're trying to tweet you. They're grooming me for the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm going to get in the WWE Hall of Fame before you do, Shane. What are you going to think about that? If I'd have had a word to say at the WWE, and I'm going to get elected to the WWE Hall of Fame before you do.
You're old enough right now.
That's a cheap shot. That's very disrespectful.
So if Joe-Man ain't here, you're going to be called Joe-Man. Joe-Man, what do you feel about that?
I know that DI, has a problem with those "this is awesome" chants and stuff, and then watching the crowd. But I mean, if DI is sharing this tweet, he's not getting paid for it. I mean, isn't he marking out for WWE either?
Exactly. He's marking out for a tweet.
Motherfucker ran like a dick.
No, wait a second. People, I retweet stuff. You retweet stuff all the time when people tweet about you. You were specifically talking.
You were commenting on it. You were commenting on it. I screen captured it.
Hashtag
go to the detail file.
Go ahead. Now, let's hear it. Read the tweets.
No, you said you would think Cyrus over huge, that's Lord Cyrus to you, right, sees the value in promoting me like WWE does.
Yes, on the Impact Wrestling,
I'm going to say, I ain't hating on you. I'm going to say, I'm not hating on you. But if you're going to hate on me, you can't hate on me for the respect I get if you're going to do that shit. That's all I'm saying. I ain't going to hate on you. I'm just calling out the hypocrisy. So that when WWE would adopt me, I retweet it too. Absolutely no hypocrisy whatsoever. But there's something good that came out of it, though, see how composed Derek Lewis stayed. Because it would be really easy to get frustrated in that situation. And, the fact that he kind of stayed in the game plan.
Let me tell you two things that stood out to me real quick before we get into get Nagano, because there's not much to get into. But it's very revealing to me. I watch this show every week. I don't know if you ever see it, Shane. It's called UFC Tonight.
Sometimes.
All right. So I was watching it this week, and you know how every week before the fight, they always have the guys on Skype or Skype, whatever the fuck you call it.
Hey, come on, put that away.
Skype. Bro, I'm in Iran, pretty much bordering Turkmenistan, and so they always interview the fighters before the fight, right? And so they were interviewing Max Holloway, right? And this was like 2 days before they announced was recorded like 2 days before it was announced that, he was pulling out, right?
He was punch drunk, right?
Right, he was punch drunk, and I already knew this, right? So I'm looking at it 2 days later and going, wow, this guy's really fucked up. Michael Bisping actually says this during the interview. He goes, he's not looking very spry, he's looking kind of lethargic, and then he perhaps tries to find an excuse for him, and he goes, well, maybe it's because he's been doing a lot of press junkets. Sometimes, I'm doing a lot of interviews, and I stay up late, and I'm not, he goes, get some rest, and then we later find out he was really punch drunk, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could see it on that show. And then another thing that was very revealing to me, I actually said this once on the podcast. There was this one show they did where Cormier actually sat down and broke down a match between him and Gustafsson. And he went through everything he was thinking of in the match, how they studied film on him. It was brilliant. I couldn't believe, how erudite this guy was. And then in that show, the same show that Max Holloway was punch drunk, Cormier actually said this. He said, I found a kink in his armor, and I'm going to knock him out. I was like, wow, that's pretty boastful. And then if you saw right after the match, when Rogan was interviewing Daniel, he goes, yeah, we noticed that every time he backs out of the clinch, he drops his hands, and they showed the exact, when he said that, they showed the film of that happening, and that's when he knocked him out. So he'd actually studied him, waiting for that, getting inside so he could hit him with that perfect shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I couldn't...
My question about the... let me ask you a little question about the Hollywood
not
thing.
one is fight. Now my work here is done. I'm going home.
Right. And
I'm going to go eat some lunch.
Not only that, bro, he ain't afraid to mix it up in a match either. So...
Well, really, here's the thing I found interesting about that. You have to be smarter than that.
Can I tell you something real quick? This used to happen in boxing, and I don't know if it happens in UFC. But back in the day when I was in the military,
I gotta leave you now.
They used to bring all the guys that were stationed in San Diego, and they would bring all the guys that were stationed in LA, right? And there was already beef between San Diego and LA just because it was San Diego and LA. And
see y'all later tonight.
Into our gym, the Star, bro, it was like a street fight. It was just us trying to prove that we were better than them. And sometimes